This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Welcome, folks. I'm just thrilled to have Ben Costello with me, and it's so funny because Ben and I have been friends for a long time. I interviewed him over the radio years ago, and then of course we've been Facebook friends. And now to meet you in person is just
about
awesome.
time, huh?
It's about time, that's right. So you grew up watching Gunsmoke, and how did you turn from just an ordinary fan into an author?
Well, I had written a couple of plays, but as a kid we watched it as a family. It was one of the shows that we would sit down religiously and watch. And I was at a memorabilia show in Hollywood, and I was buying photos and memorabilia. And a guy says, you know, the 50th anniversary is coming up. Why don't you write a book on it? And I started thinking about it. I said, all right, it can't be that tough. Then when I realized there were 635 episodes to cover, I knew I'd taken on a big project. But it took me 5 years to get it done.
Well, it's a tremendous amount of research.
Well, thank you.
But it's more than just, you know, cataloging who and what. It really captures, just like you were talking about the family sitting around the TV watching it,
Yeah.
That's the legacy of Gunsmoke.
Well, you know, it was one of the first adult westerns on TV, and it was so popular that at one point there were 36 different westerns on television, and there were only 3 networks at the time. You know, the kids today, there's 200 or 300 channels.
Right.
They wouldn't have a clue that we only had 3 back then, and then a couple of local stations, you know. But,
Sure.
but it's America's mythology, you know, the West. And Gunsmoke had the benefit of having the best talent in front of the camera and behind it also. The writers, the directors, producers.
The writers were amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Jim Burns was one of the best writers. He did the introduction for my book. And Sam Peckinpah, who was a legendary director, started out as a writer with Gunsmoke and The Rifleman and a couple other shows. So they had the best of the best.
They absolutely did. And I was telling somebody today, you know, Kansas could not have had a better ambassador to the world than this show.
Right, than Marshall Matt Dillon.
Marshall
you know?
Matt Dillon.
And if you look at the show, it really started iconic portrayals, because you see someone like Doc in other shows, other movies. You'd see a Miss Kitty type of person, and of course you'd see the big lawman. But it all started really with Gunsmoke, you know.
So what has getting involved in this meant to you personally in your life?
Well, it changed my life for the better. A lot of the people that I interviewed are still my friends today, 10, 12, 15 years later. And some of the meanest, rottenest people on screen are the biggest cupcakes you'd ever want to meet. You know, teddy bears, like Morgan Woodward. Scared the heck out of me as a kid, but meeting him, he's just the nicest guy in the world, and he, to this day, still calls my son every once in a while, check on him. How are you doing, Eddie? You know, you don't hear that with stars and stuff like that today. And we don't really have the stable of actors that they had back then, the good character actors.
Yeah.
We don't have them, you know. It was a magical era, and everything clicked. Everything hit right at the right time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's the only other show other than I Love Lucy that's never left the air since its premiere.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Amazing.
And 20 seasons, unbelievable.
Well, Ben, thanks so much.
Thank
it was
you,
great
Deb.
to visit with you. You've got to have the book.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.